Well, what is wrong with Quebec City's police force? It all began late last week with video shared on social media of a violent arrest of black teens in Quebec City. And from there in the last week, just story after story of Quebec City police officers being violent in similar situations. One of the reporters that has been all over this story over the course of the last week is Alexane Drolet. She joins us now from Bell Media Studios in Quebec City, a reporter with Noovo. Alexane, welcome to the show.
Hello, Elias.
It's great to have you on the show here. Okay, can we just start all at the beginning? And I know you've been doing a lot of researching on the events that happened that first night where the video came out on social media. Tell us what you've learned since then about just that day and these police officers.
Yeah, so we have to go back in time a little bit because a lot has happened this week with police in Quebec. But it all started a week ago, so last Friday, when a video started circulating at night, so between Friday to Saturday morning. And what we could see in that video footage was a violent arrest, a violent takedown of two black youth. And the arrest was particularly violent with a 18-year-old guy named Pacific Nio Quizera. You probably heard his name this week. He was punched several times by two officers and was thrown snow on his face by another police officer that was there that night. So this all happened on Grande Allée, downtown Quebec City, when the bars were closing, and it went viral on social networks. So that was the first video that we saw a week ago.
Yeah, and of course then from there, we start to look at the police officers that made this arrest, and this is where it starts to get really interesting.
Exactly. So the next day, a second video of a violent arrest appeared online. This time, we could see officers punching a guy and also using their knees to control him. This all took place in a restaurant in Sainte-Foy. It's not a bar, it's an Italian restaurant called Portofino. And this happened the same night as this violent arrest that I just talked to you about. So I spoke with the victim. His name is Jean-Philippe Saint-Laurent. And what he told me is that the police officers were in the restaurant to check on vaccination passports. And then one of Mr. Saint Laurent's friends was not allowed to be in the restaurant, so he wanted to defend his friend, but he didn't want him to leave the restaurant, so the police decided to arrest him instead of his friend. It led to a violent altercation. He told me that he had cuts on his face, his nose was broken, he had a concussion. So Sunday afternoon, after those two violent arrests that were circulating on social networks, the SPVQ director and the new Quebec City Mayor, Bruno Marchand, spoke to the media to announce that they were investigating on what happened.
Okay, so the thing here, these officers, they're part of a squad. It's called GRIP, right?
Exactly. So it became clear that a single squad, the GRIP squad, was problematic. The GRIP squad is tasked here in Quebec to patrol in restaurants and bars, so they are used to intervene in those types of situations. They're used to being filmed also, right? Mm-hmm. But those arrests were particularly violent, and it's important to mention that Quebec's Public Safety Minister Geneviève Guilbeault has ordered police ethics investigation for both incidents. There are also two internal investigations with the SPVQ. Mm-hmm. And finally, on Tuesday, the SPVQ announced that they were suspending the 5 police officers that were on the video footage that I first talked to you about on Grande Allée.
Of course, that's a suspension with pay. We're with Alexane Drolet, reporter with Noovo. She's joining us from the Bell Media Studios in Quebec City. Now, Alexane, of course, when this all began, we saw the video that came out on social media. Yeah. 2 black youths involved there. And I know one of the things that you've reported on over the course of this week, some of these other cases are not with black people being arrested, but one of the things you reported on was the lack of diversity in Quebec's police force. What can you tell us about that and some of the people you've spoken to on that issue?
Well, the problem is that we already know that in Quebec police force, there is not even one black police. So there's not even one black police officer in Quebec patrolling. I'm not only talking about the the grip squad here, but
overall, the entire force.
The entire SPVQ, right. So I wanted to know why, and it is honestly very difficult to get a clear answer from the organization. But I spoke with one of the directors, and when I simply asked why there was not even one black police officer in Quebec, what he told me is that actually there was one. He had been hired in the 90s, was part-time during the summer,
30
and
years
then he
ago.
left.
30 years ago, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And an important point of his answer is that he told me that he left to go work in Montreal. That was the whole point of the report there that I made. I was wondering why they are all going in Montreal, because there are, in the past 5 years, there has been more than 80 police officers who graduated from National Police School who are from ethnic minorities. So why is there not even one who wanted to work in Quebec City? Well, he told me, the director of the SPVQ told me that it's often because their family is in Montreal or because they feel more comfortable patrolling in Montreal.
Wow. Listen, Alexane, we have to wrap this up, but I just want to ask you one last question on what else. There's been other videos that have come out since, right? So it seems like this is adding up here.
Exactly. The third, the fourth video yesterday. So there are some violent arrests that are still going on. The police, the director, Denis Turcotte, spoke to the media yesterday. He asked if there are some other videos that people have in Quebec. He wants to see them because he really wants to go to the bottom of this. And honestly, Elias, I spoke with some people on the street today, and the population of Quebec really needs some answer. People want to know what happened, and especially why all this violence is happening.
Alexane Drolet, reporter with Noovo in Quebec City, joining us from the Bell Media Studios. And Alexane, I know you were nervous because this is your English language debut. Your English language debut, but I knew you were going to crush it. You went to Concordia Journalism. Come on, you were fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Take care, Alexane. Great talking to you.
Bye-bye.